So we're just a little late. We apologize for that, but I'm going to just jump right into a quick intro where we're going to see our agenda, and we're going to get rolling here. Okay, so this is our intro event with Renee Wood. We're super excited for you all to join us, and she's going to have some really great stuff to share with you. All right, so again, we're just a little behind. This is just a short few slides, just as an intro and a welcome. Then I'm going to do what we were calling a supportive tech refresher, which is just sort of a really broad overview of the types of tech that we talk about in these events. And then we're going to get right to what I'm sure all of you who are here to see. And that is Renee is going to tell us her tech story. And then we're going to have a tech spotlight. And I'm calling this low tech grab bag. And that was the type of technology that Renee decided that she wanted to spotlight tonight. So I've got a little video we'll show where I get to visit Renee's house, and we'll hear her describe some of these items that she uses and varying levels of success that she has had or has with them. And then we usually reserve about the second half of the program here to do Q&A. So this is really targeted toward individuals and families. So this is your opportunity. Like I said earlier, if you want to come on the screen, use that raise hand button, and then ask your question live to Renee. And that question could be about Renee and her life and the technology she talks about, or it could be about your life. If there are questions you have about technology and what might be appropriate or work for you, we would encourage you to ask those questions as well. All right, so we're a little ways into our schedule. We started off our new round of our Tech Ambassadors Grant with a kickoff event on March 11th, and then we introduced Brad Whitmoyer, Jen Schlegel, and then Renee's event is right now. All three of those are brand new Tech Ambassadors to our program. They joined the 5 Tech Ambassadors that we had already. All right, look for an in-person event to happen next with a Tech Ambassador to be decided upon soon. Well, since I created this slide, we actually can announce that we will have our first in-person event on June 8th, and that is going to be in Adams County, which is way, way down south. 2 of our Tech Ambassadors are going to be there in person, Chris Cooley and Tanner Huff. And that's such a new development for us that we don't even have a registration up at our website for that event quite yet. But look for that to happen within the next day to 2 days. We're super excited about getting to meet some folks in person. You can always find out, though, what we're doing and when new events get added just by going to ohiotechambassadors.org/events. Last quick thing to mention, if you want to book a meeting with a Tech Ambassador, we are here for that. Whether you are an individual or a family and you just like to maybe have a Tech Ambassador join, say, a team meeting, or just talk to one of those folks individually, or whether you are hosting an advocacy group meeting or an SSA staff meeting or a provider event meeting, and you'd like to have one of our ambassadors speak. So of course, we want to allow you some Q&A during the events, but we would love to attend these other things as well. And our biggest goal is to meet with individuals and families who are considering technology as a solution for them in their lives. The way to do that is to go out to ohiotechambassadors.org/request and just tell us the information about when you'd like to meet and who you'd like to meet with. All right. So next is our little supportive tech refresher. For those of you who may not, spend an awful lot of time in the DoDD world of supportive technology, we'll just go over these things briefly, and then we can get to Renee. Okay, so according to DoDD, supportive technology is made of 2 things. Okay, so the first thing is assistive technology, and that's equipment that assists the person with developmental disabilities, just everyday activities, just things that they may want to do that any of the rest of us do. So this could include special adaptive devices. You know, we've got things like induction stoves or medication dispensers, med alert devices that are specifically made for people with types, you know, certain types of disabilities. It could be mainstream consumer devices such as digital assistants, you know, the Amazon world or the Google world that could include lights, doorbell cameras, and other things like that. But it doesn't have to be anything electronic or battery operated. It could literally be an adaptive fork, a rail in a bathroom, or even a pillow. And you're going to get to see some really interesting non-electronic devices tonight. That's where Renee decided that she wanted to focus her attention. Okay, so one half of supported technology is the assistive technology, all of those different types of equipment. The second half is remote support. So this is personal service by trained support staff, but instead of being delivered physically in the home, it's delivered over two-way audio or video. And these days, most of the time, it's delivered over two-way video. Okay, now, you know, this trained support person not only can talk to the person living in the home, though, but they may also have access to all kinds of technology in the home to just help make sure that the person living in that home is safe. And that could be things like cameras or sensors or security systems, door locks, thermostats, all of those things. Okay, so that is the world that we are sort of focused on here. Now with that, I know you've all been waiting. Let's just get right to Renee. We are super happy to welcome Renee Wood. And Renee, I'm just going to turn it right over to you, and you can tell these folks your tech story.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here tonight. I will tell you a little bit about my story. It's a long story because I'm 63 years old. I've been using technology ever since I can remember. Of course, back in the day, we didn't have high tech. We only had low tech. And the reason why I chose to focus on low tech tonight is because I believe that low tech is the reason why I could walk and do so many things on my own for many years. Anyways, I want to get right into it. When I was born, I was obviously born with cerebral palsy, and it was pretty severe cerebral palsy. They never thought I could walk or talk, and they said I might even have some cognitive challenges. Well, they were wrong about all of that. When I was young, the first thing I remember my mom told me is the way they taught me how to crawl, and my dad made a sling and he put it over some wheels so I could wiggle my arms and my legs and make it move. My mom used to say I bumped my head over the ground a little bit, but that taught me that I had to hold my head up so I wouldn't hit on the ground. And that's how I learned how to crawl. In my mom and dad's house, we were very poor, so I never had a walker. I never had a wheelchair. I had to get around the best way I could. And doing that, it made my muscles very strong. So I learned how to walk on my own. without any assistive devices. And I personally think that it's okay to use a wheelchair for school or to get out socially. But when you're at home, you need to get out of that wheelchair and use everything you can. The second thing I really remember about technology is when I went to college, I could not write. So to take notes, I had to use a tape recorder. I know that sounds archaic now, but that's the way it was back then. To tell you the truth, I hated the tape recorder because I had to listen to the stupid lecture all over again. And so I just learned how to write down words to trigger my memory. And I learned to memorize things instead of going back over. That was the beginning of my college. The second time I went to college, everything was different. I got a scribe. I used all my books digitally so I could read real fast. And my grades changed from C's and B's to A's. So it wasn't that my mind was holding me back. It was I just didn't have the right equipment to help me advance. But even in my own home, I was very creative. I moved out at the age of 19, which is very early for someone with DD. But you know how teenagers are. They don't want to be home with their mom, and I want to move out. And that's exactly what I did. But when I moved out, I had to learn how to adapt to the environment. And I lived at the Y for a while. And in order to cook, I cook TV dinners a lot. And in order to cook frozen dinners, you had to use the oven. There was no such thing as microwaves. See, if you guys remember how TV dinners used to be, they were in these flimsy aluminum containers. And if you picked them up, they would fall right in half, especially with CP. So you don't want to kill your hot dinner like that. So I got a 12 by 5 cake pan, and I bent down one side of it so I could tip the TV dinner up in there and carry the hot dinner to the table and slide it out on the table. And that was one way I accommodated myself. And to do laundry, of course, I couldn't carry a laundry basket. So I just I'll get a chair with wheels on it, put the basket in there, take it to the laundry. I devised so many things. You'll see some of them, but in my ability changed. In 2003, I had an operation and I lost most of my ability to do any kind of self-care. Man, I tried so hard to adapt stuff. I put straps. I had someone sew straps on my pants so I could pull them up. Listen, but you know, you try things that don't work. Finally, I had to accept I wasn't going to be able to do self-care anymore. So I had to concentrate on what I could do. And I could still see myself, and I had made several years before that. You'll see that coming up. I am. And then 3 years ago, I broke my arm, my right arm, which was my dominant arm. That's how I drove my wheelchair, and that's how I type on the computer. That's how I fed myself. And even though it doesn't sound like a lot, when you lose that ability, you lose a lot. So I think God is trying to show me that I can adapt to anything. Cause I couldn't drive my chair anymore because it was on my right side. So my husband built me a stick that I could drive with my left hand to my right side until I could get my chair, the control on my chair over to my right side. And you know what? For a 60-year-old woman to learn how to drive with the right hand when she was driving for 30 years with the left hand, that's a real challenge. But I did it. How am I on time? I still got phone, but no, I don't. So, you mind moving to the next part?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. And I can't wait for you guys to see some of the stuff that Renee had. What we're going to do really, really quick is do one poll question before we move to that end section. So this is a poll question on event segments. So we'd like your feedback on the types of content you want to see in our events. Okay. So the choices we have out here were, and you know, you can answer multiple things: educational material and remote supports and assistive technology, live technology demonstrations that are pre-recorded, personal stories of tech ambassadors and others, and then question and answer sessions with attendees. So we'll leave that up here for just a minute before we shut that down. And what I'm going to do next, we recorded a video. I got the chance to visit Renee at her home, and she had all of these great low-tech devices laid out on her table there waiting. So we'll play this video for you, and you'll get to hear her describe some of these things. And then she should have a couple of minutes after that if she wants to add footnotes to any of what's on this video. All right.
So tell us about the spoon.
Well, that spoon, I designed it about 35 years ago. So I just took an ordinary spoon, put it in your hand, and had somebody mend it for me in the right way. Because if you really look at it, it's kind of twisted even in the middle of it to give me a better grip.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see. What else do we have? So this device,
That's,
is that, what is that?
that's a car holder.
Play cards.
For
Oh,
you.
you play euchre?
Yeah,
Oh, I love it.
I love you, yeah.
That is great. Okay. I've never seen that.
Just a simple car holder, yeah, makes a lot of difference.
Okay. And I recognize that, you maybe help you with your shoes.
Yeah, that don't work. It hurts my foot, so that was a disaster, but it's good to play with my cat with that.
Love it. How about this one?
You put your sock over the end of it,
Oh,
without the string on it, and then you stick your foot in the hole and pull it up, and the sock goes right on your foot.
perfect, perfect. Is that just a back scratcher?
No, that's my head scratcher.
Ah, okay.
I can't reach my arms to my head, and I just bought that. That is so cool.
What is it?
You put it on a jar.
So those grip the jar, and then you got a separate grip for the lid. There you go. Look at that.
She bought that principle to me because my hands are getting weaker.
So it can detect when the jar's open enough for you just
Yeah.
look at that.
You know, and that's the ordinary thing that online for anybody. But when I saw that, I thought, how cool would that be for people with disabilities?
Right.
So a lot of the stuff I see online, like, see that pizza cutter?
Yeah.
That's how I used to cut my meat on that.
Okay.
Because it's written down, it's round, and you can't hurt yourself with it, but it works.
Right.
The pill over there,
Mm-hmm.
that was a disaster.
Oh.
I gotta sleep like with the pill on my right side, and everybody has trouble tipping me to get under there. So I thought, oh, I'll buy this wedge, and it would slip right in there. Well, it slipped under there, but it slipped right out too.
Oh. Yeah.
See that mat over there? I had that mat over there
This one here?
for years. And
Yeah.
I used it for everything. It used to hold my plate so it didn't go all over the table
Yeah.
when I tried to feed myself.
Oh yeah, I can feel that. It's got a kind of a
little
little
sticky
sticky
like.
grip to it.
But when I bought that shelf paper, I wanted to show people that does the same thing. So
Right.
that's cheaper cost. But I put that under my phone, I put it under my eyes. I put it under my remote. I wanted to show you that
We used to use that when I made a.
we made this.
Oh, look at that.
This keeps it from skidding too much.
You had to get rid of it.
Yeah. Let's be honest here, you know. We didn't buy that for Pepsi or something.
So that's how I do it.
This is just a bicycle bottle holder.
Oh, okay.
That's about the third generation of that.
When you get useful devices, you wear them out, right? You got to remake them.
Yeah, they do it out with it.
Well, you get an idea of how to make them better.
So, George, you mute. You muted.
I said, I like how you included some of the information on things that really didn't work so well. Anything you want to add, like as a footnote to that video, Renee?
Well, the reason why I included things that don't work is that you always gotta try new things. If it doesn't work, it's not a big deal. I don't know if you remember that, but it's not on the video. Remember that other stock put it on that didn't work? I'm using it right now to hold my arm up.
So that's great. And it's shaped. It was the big blue thing there. And I don't know if we'll be able to see that on the camera here.
Okay.
If we can, it would be great. Sometimes these backgrounds that we have, they look nice, but they make it sometimes a little hard. Oh, can you see that? So it's like it goes around your forearm.
Where is it?
Put it to the camera.
Yeah.
Put it closer.
Yeah, there you go.
See at home. Can you see what you're doing?
No, I can't see
For
that.
a moment. I think for a moment we could see it. So you could see that it's the same size as the other one, right? It's made to go around your
You gotta
foot.
block that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the angle of it, I hold my arm up and that was my problem. And I sent George a video of me using it to write with.
You said you were signing checks with it, right?
Yeah.
That is great.
So
Great.
So even though it didn't work for my socks, it worked to sign checks with.
That is great. So, it's about not even worried about what the device was actually designed for. I mean, you use the pizza cutter to cut your meat. So it really doesn't matter what it was designed for. You can maybe find all kinds of uses. I love that.
So can we open it up to questions?
We're going to ask our second poll question really quick, and then we are going to do just that. Poll question number 2 is on other activities that you audience members think that Ohio Tech Ambassadors could and should be doing outside of our events. And this is a single answer. So which of these things do you feel like would be the most important thing Ohio Tech Ambassadors could be doing outside of events like this one? Meeting with individuals and families about assistive technology, speaking at advocacy group meetings, speaking at conferences on assistive technology, speaking at staff meetings for county boards, COGS, or other agencies, or we have an other down there. So this is I'm going to leave that open just for a minute. This is the portion of our program where if anybody wants to come on camera, just hit the raise hand button, and then we should be able to promote you to a panelist where you can turn on your camera and your microphone and actually ask your question live. And while we're giving folks a minute to think about that, we did get one question typed in the Q&A. And this comes from a person we know. Chris Cooley. And his question is, when you decided to move out, did others tell you you can't do it? Or was it hard for others to let you try on your own?
Well, I moved out in the middle of the night, so that tells you that. Yeah, my mom and dad never thought I would move out, honestly. However, when I got older, we were in our 40s and 50s. I asked my brother and sister, because I was just curious what they thought. And I said, what did you guys think when I moved out? They go, we never thought you wanted to move out. You always said you were going to move out. So even though my mom and dad had their own perspective, my brother and sister had a totally different perspective.
How about that?
When I moved out, was it hard? You know, there's pros and cons to everything. And you know, I was young, and when you're young, you don't got no fear. There's no fear there. So no, it wasn't that hard. You just did what you had to do to get by. And I went to college a week after I moved out. I started college, so it was a whole new life.
Great. So no one came and tried to corral you and pick you up and drag you back home?
No, because I was 19. I told my mom I left. Do that and I'll call the police. I ain't going back home.
Okay. All right. So we've got an attendee who would like to come on camera and ask a question live. Jermaine, I'm going to promote you to a panelist. So what's going to happen is you're going to leave for a brief second and then come back in. And then when you do, you'll be able to turn on your camera and your microphone. And we would love to have you ask your question live. All right. Welcome, Jermaine.
You got unmute, Jermaine.
Yep. Tell you what, while we're waiting for Jermaine to do that, I do have another question that was put into the chat by Shannon. And the question is, do you purchase all the items yourself or some through insurance, waiver, donation, or other funding?
No, I did it on myself because it takes too long to wait for all that stuff. And everything I bought wasn't that much money. Of course, when it comes to wheelchairs or anything like that, of course I do insurance. But I bought all my own iPads. I bought all my own computer adapters, equipment. It's just easier than arguing with somebody about it, to tell the truth.
That totally makes sense. All right, Jermaine, are you still there? Would you like to unmute, turn on your camera and your microphone so we can hear you, see you? We're going to give you another minute. All right, I do have another question in the Q&A here. We're going to give Jermaine just one more little try here. So this is from another person we know, Nathan Turner. Nathan says, great job as always, Renee. If you have time, perhaps you could talk about your experience problem solving with non-traditional technology to increase your independence.
I think he's talking about my smart home. Is that right, Nick?
We'll see if he wants to comment. By the way, we saw low-tech devices. Renee does have some higher tech.
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to just mention those? Oh, it's Jermaine. Hi. So we can see you.
But we can't hear
Are you able to unmute so you can ask your question? Oh, I wish we could hear. We're going to give you another minute just to see if we can work that out, Jermaine. We would love to have you come on and ask this question if you can get your audio working. Anything else to comment on when it comes to, non-traditional tech? Let's assume Nate did mean, was it digital assistant related information? Is that what you thought he was referring to?
I thought he meant like my Alexa and everything my Alexa does.
I got to see a couple of those.
Sometimes my Alexa goes out, certain things go out on Alexa, and I have to figure out on my own how to fix it because I don't have anybody from the county board that does that. So my whole house was set up by me and me alone. I mean, my husband did some of the physical work, but I did all the smart work. I'm gonna get trouble with that.
All this smart work.
But
Is that Flores chuckling back there?
yeah.
By the way, Flores built some pretty nice stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of those things he showed were pretty neat.
Hey, Renee.
Jermaine, hi.
How are you guys doing?
Fine, how are you?
Good. We're about 2 generations apart. We're about 2 generations apart. Because I'm 43. And when I went to college, it was kind of funny. Because my mom knew that I was going to live on campus. But my dad didn't know. And I was in a summer program before my freshman year of college. So my dad's walking me to the bus stop. He's like, well, not much for tape when you go to college. I said, Dad, I'm living on campus. It totally blew his mind.
Cool.
That's great.
Didn't expect, that I would just go and leave.
That's a little bit similar to Renee's story, right? Except you haven't ended up. Well, I guess Renee, you ended up in college too, right?
Yeah, a week later, a week after I moved out, I was in college.
What college did you go to?
I went to the University of Toledo.
Cool. I have a cousin that graduated from their law school.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Jermaine, did you have a question for Renee?
Yeah. How hard has it been to get like your real high tech stuff?
I started out real slow. I started out with just one Alexa was a present for my daughter. She gave me an Alexa, and I didn't know what the heck it was. That was about 3.5 years ago when they were just coming out, and I had no idea what it could do. So I had to look it up online, and I thought, oh my God, this is so cool. And I bought some light bulbs. I bought 4 light bulbs. I started out with that. Then I bought some plugs. And then so over the years, I kept adding to it. But next,
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Jermaine. I appreciate that question. Thank you very much for coming on with us. Let's see. Okay. Oops, my view changed. All right. Anyone else? Does anybody else want to come on screen and ask a question of Renee live? Well, I've got a question for you, Renee. So, you know, and if you feel like we've adequately covered this already, that's fine. But, you know, you included a lot of items that didn't work so well in your video. And why did you include those? Why was that important to you to cover those things?
well, I think it's important for people to know everything doesn't work. That doesn't mean that technology is bad. Just because one thing don't work for you doesn't mean something else won't work. And I think people get discouraged when they think something doesn't work. So it's not about being discouraged, it's about, okay, this didn't work, what else can I do, you know? Did that answer it okay?
I think, and you know, like for me, one of my observations about all of those things, when you completely untie yourself from your use of a device, from its intended use, right? I think it helps you adopt the perspective you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just because one thing doesn't work, you know, doesn't mean that maybe I don't have 2 or 3 things lying around my house, maybe that could, you know?
And it doesn't mean you can't use it for something else. I know that sounds really, really strange, but I've done that several times with things that didn't work, and I can use that for this.
You gave us an example of that, right? Like
Yeah.
signing checks with your sock puller that
Yeah.
was a terrible sock puller.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Let's see. Here's one. Just double check, make sure we don't have anybody with a hand raised. I don't think we do. Give us your perspective, Renee, on how much assistive tech young children should be using.
Well, I think that depending on the disability, I want to be clear about that. Because people with CP, kids with CP, kids with spina bifida are much different than kids with muscular dystrophy. You know, you would not put somebody with muscular dystrophy on the floor and make them crawl around. That would not be a good idea. But I think if the child has any capability of muscle power, of muscle movement, they cannot be in a wheelchair all day. they can't be in a power chair or even a manual chair. They need to get out most of the day and try to go get that toy. Put a toy out that they like and put it out where they can't reach it and let them go get it. And it doesn't only help them physically, but mentally. It makes them think about, okay, I can't do it this way, but maybe I can do it this way. And if they're always in a wheelchair, if somebody's always there to hand them whatever they need, or if they're always using assistive technology at their age to get what they want, they don't get to develop what they want to develop. We want kids to develop into the full potential. And sometimes if you use technology too young, it arrests the natural development. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Well, I think so.
It might be just an old lady talking about old stuff, but I'm all for technology. I'm all for technology. I just don't want kids to not walk or not be able to use their hands or not be creative because they didn't weren't given enough time to do it on their own. More than 2 hours a week at physical therapy is not going to do it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I appreciate the emphasis on that all of the way technology is used really depends on this person's, a person's disability. I mean, even two people with CP can be vastly very, different in the amount of technology they need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as we're just doing what's appropriate, do you think it would be fair, Renee, to say you really want to hesitate to depend upon technology if it's not necessary?
Yeah. Let me give you an example. I need a wheelchair full time now. Can't help that. But I would never give up the days when my friends would come and pick me up in their car and I could run out of the house and jump in the car and go get a beer. And I didn't have to set up a bus and all that stuff. I would never give that up. So even though I'm thankful for my chair now, I'm glad that my mom and dad didn't have it when I was younger.
So would you say that you think you appreciate some of the struggles you went through at an early age to learn things?
Yeah, I kind of use it like a chick hatching out of the egg. I don't know if you know this, but a chick has to pick its own way out of the egg. If
Right.
you pick it out of the egg for him, that chick will die. So it's a balance. It's a balance. How much do you have and how much do you let them struggle? And you gotta kind of be wise about that, but struggle is not wrong. Struggle is okay.
I love that. So I didn't realize that along with some assistive tech knowledge, I was going to get a little bit of farming knowledge today. I did not know that about chicks and eggs, but that's great. And I love the analogy too. I think it completely works. All right. I'll tell you what, I am looking, I don't see any more questions here. We're just a minute or two out. Any final thoughts you want to share with folks, Renee?
You know, technology is our future, and I'm designing a website. George got a peek at it, and if I get to do another event, it's all going to be about futuristic ideas, and they got robots that can pick people up and put them in the chair. They're all being designed right now, and they got a bed that can change into a motorized wheelchair. It's pretty cool, isn't it, George?
It is. And you know what? While I visited Renee the other day, she actually showed me a couple of videos of this. And I completely forgot to mention that Renee is actually developing her own website for all of her Tech Ambassador activity. One of the things that we're going to do from her bio page on our Ohio Tech Ambassadors website is link over there so that folks have a way to get over to Renee's site. And she's got a whole page for a lot of these new technologies. So she's very passionate about those, as well as the lower tech stuff that we spent some time talking about today.
And I want to thank everybody for coming. Can you give them my email?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can reach Renee. You can just type in Renee at ohiotechambassadors.org. If you want to send her a message, reach out to her. As we talked about earlier, if you want to request a meeting with Renee, you can just go to ohiotechambassadors.org/request and fill out a form to do that. And since it's officially 7, I do want to just take a second and echo Renee's thanks to all of the folks who attended. We greatly appreciate your time. We hope that you've had a good time with us and have some valuable things to take away. Thanks as always to our interpreters who always do such a great job. And biggest thanks of all goes to Renee for allowing us to kind of get a window into your home and into your life. So thanks so much. All right. We will see you all next time. Everyone have a great night.